It was during the Harmattan season that she first saw him tall, lean, with eyes that held 1,000 unsaid words. Blessing had just finished washing her late mother's clothes in the laundry, her arms aching, her eyes red from mourning. Her life had been a string of quiet suffering, a sickly father, a stepmother who treated her worse than a servant, and dreams swallowed by poverty. So when the stranger with soft eyes and quiet strength helped her lift her laundry basket and walked her home without a word, she felt something strange. Peace. He called himself Paul, and he came from the next town, though he was always vague about the details. He was a builder, good with his hands, and in no time helped fix the leaking roof of their mud house. Then he began fixing everything in Blessing's broken world. Within months, he asked to marry her. No elaborate bride price, no fanfare, just quiet commitment. People whispered,
"A man like that, so humble, so gentle. Something must be wrong."
but Blessing didn't care. For the first time, someone chose her not out of pity, but with purpose. Still, there were strange things. He never looked at himself in mirrors. She once caught him turning the wall mirror in their room to face backward, and he never spoke of his childhood, his people, or his past. Whenever she asked, his response was always the same.
"That life is gone. I buried it."
Despite the questions, Blessing chose love. Together, they had 3 children. Their home was filled with laughter, prayers, and the scent of fresh yam porridge. But even happiness has shadows. One day at the city market, as she bargained with a fish seller, Paul froze. His eyes locked with an old man across the road, a man Blessing didn't recognize. The man's mouth opened slowly.
Babatunde?
That name meant nothing to her. But Paul dropped the yams he was holding and vanished. Into the crowd, into thin air. She never saw him again. And that was only the beginning of the mystery. Blessing stood frozen, her hands trembling as the yams Paul dropped rolled beneath the vendor's table. The marketplace bustled around her, unaware that her world had just shifted. She scanned the crowd. He was gone. The old man who had called him Babatunde stood rooted, his face pale as clay. His lips trembled like someone who had seen a ghost. Blessing rushed to him.
"Please, sir, what did you call him? Who is Babatunde?"
The man shook his head slowly.
"That man is dead. Buried 7 years ago in Okino City. I was at his funeral."
Blessing stuttered back, her chest tightening.
"You must be mistaken. That's my husband. His name is Paul."
The man's eyes watered.
No, child. That's Babatunde, my cousin's only son. We buried him with our hands. His mother never recovered from the shock of his demise."
Blessing blinked rapidly, her breathing shallow.
"You're wrong. He's alive. He's my husband. We have children, 3 of them."
The old man stared at her for a long, heavy moment. Then, without another word, he turned and walked away. She stood there in the center of the market, numb, with the echoes of the name Babatunde ringing in her ears. That evening, she walked home alone, her basket empty, her soul heavier than ever. The children ran to her, asking for their father. She lied. She said he had gone ahead to fetch water. They waited all night. Morning came. Paul never returned. 2 days passed. She reported to the local elders, to the city chief, to everyone she could find. Search parties were sent to neighboring towns. No one had seen him. His clothes remained in the house, his shoes by the door. His scent still lingered on the pillow, but he was gone, as if he never existed. Blessing couldn't sleep. She began to dig through the little she knew. She opened the old wooden box where he kept his documents, but there was nothing. No birth certificate, no family names, no proof of identity, not even a childhood photo. That night, she turned the mirror he had always avoided to face the room again. She stood in front of it for hours, staring at herself, wondering if the man she loved was a spirit wearing flesh, or if she had been living inside a lie so perfect she had mistaken it for truth. When she finally slept, she dreamed of Paul, standing beside a fresh grave. He looked at her with tears in his eyes and whispered, "I told you that life was buried." The dream haunted her all morning. Blessing sat beneath the large mango tree behind their compound, her head resting on her knees as her children played nearby, unaware that their world had tilted into something unexplainable. She clutched her chest as though holding herself together, because inside, everything was falling apart. For the first time since her mother's death, she felt completely alone. Paul or Babatunde, or whoever he was, had become her home, her breath, her rest. Now, he was a ghost in her memory, and a ghost in someone's grave. Later that day, she visited Mama Iya, the old herbalist who everyone said could speak to the wind. If anyone could make sense of the strange disappearance, it was her. Mama Iya looked at her with tired eyes.
I've seen such things before. Spirits who return unfinished. Souls who wear flesh until the past catches them.
Blessing swallowed hard.
So you're saying he was never alive?
No, I'm saying his body was once buried, but his soul was not ready. Something must have pulled him back.
Me?
Blessing asked, her voice breaking.
Sometimes the soul follows warmth like a child to a flame.
The old woman said softly. Blessing left with more questions than answers. That night, she lit a kerosene lamp and opened the Quran her father left behind, searching for comfort, for understanding. She prayed through tears until dawn. Then she made a decision. She would go to Okuno, the city the old man mentioned, the place where her husband had supposedly been buried. She needed the truth, even if it shattered her. When she told her children they would be traveling, the youngest, Kulu, asked innocently,
"Will Papa be there?"
Blessing forced a smile.
Maybe, my love. Maybe.
With borrowed money from her neighbor and a heart full of silent prayers, she set out 2 days later. The road to Okuno was long, dusty, and filled with haunting thoughts. When she arrived, the city was quiet, almost too quiet, as though it remembered something painful it didn't want to speak about. She asked for the family of Babatunde. The people's eyes widened, and a few crossed themselves. Others spat on the ground.
"They're cursed."
Someone muttered. Blessing's heart pounded. A thin woman with sharp cheekbones approached her cautiously.
"You speak of Babatunde? His mother still lives. Barely."
They led her to a small hut near the edge of the city. There, seated on a raffia mat, was an old woman whose eyes had seen too much pain. Blessing introduced herself. When the name Paul passed her lips, the woman trembled.
"I knew he would return. I knew it. He promised me he would..."
Blessing sighed,
Return from where?
her voice low. The woman pointed a shaking finger to a small mound of earth behind the hut.
"From there."
She said. Blessing stood still, staring at the patch of earth the old woman had pointed to. It was a small grave, marked only by a faded wooden plank. No name, no date, just silence and overgrown weeds. She felt her knees weaken.
He's buried there,"
she whispered. The old woman nodded slowly, her voice thick with memory.
"Yes, that is where we laid my son, Babatunda, 7 rainy seasons ago. He died in pain and silence."
Blessing turned toward her, struggling to breathe.
But he lived with me for years. We had children. He was alive.
The woman's face contorted with something between grief and vindication.
"His body died, but something held him to this world. Maybe love, maybe pain, maybe both."
Blessing sat on the hard ground, staring at the grave. A breeze stirred the weeds gently, as if the earth itself was listening.
I don't understand. Why didn't he tell me?
She murmured. The old woman turned her gaze to the sky.
"Because shame weighs heavier than death."
She told the story with a trembling voice. Babatunde had once been the pride of the city, handsome, skilled, hard-working. But when his father died, his uncles fought over land. Babatunde tried to speak up, tried to protect his mother. In return, they beat him, drove him out, cursed him as worthless. He returned home one night, bloodied and broken. His mother washed his wounds, but his spirit never healed. Weeks later, he fell ill, and just before he died, he whispered to her,
I will come back, but not here. Somewhere kind, somewhere warm. I love you, Mama.
And then
the old woman said, her voice barely above a breath.
he left this world.
Blessing sat in stunned silence. Every image of her life with him flashed through her mind, his gentle laugh, the way he sang while washing the children, his fear of mirrors, the way he never used his full name. She hadn't married a man. She had married a spirit, clinging to life. Still, her heart refused to turn cold. She looked at the old woman.
Can you come with me to meet our children? They are his too.
Tears slid down the old woman's cheeks.
I thought I had no family left. But maybe I do.
She whispered. As they walked back toward the road, a strange silence settled between them. Then, from the corner of her eye, Blessing saw something, someone standing at the edge of the bush, watching them. It was him, Paul, Babatunde, her husband. But he looked different, taller somehow, glowing faintly like the last light of dusk. She gasped and turned to run toward him, but he stepped back, smiled, and disappeared like mist in the morning Sunday. Only his voice lingered.
Thank you for giving me peace.
The road back home felt longer than when she left. Blessing sat in silence beside the old woman Babatunde's mother inside the rusting pickup truck of a kind palm wine seller who offered them a ride halfway. Dust blew in through the windows, but neither of them complained. Their thoughts were far, far away. Blessing couldn't stop hearing his voice, that final whisper before he vanished again. Thank you for giving me peace. Her heart ached, but not in the way she had feared. There was pain, yes, but also peace, knowing she hadn't imagined it all, that her love had been real, even if he wasn't. She looked at the old woman, whose wrinkled hands were tightly wrapped around a faded scarf.
He really loved you.
Blessing said softly.
He used to hum in his sleep. I thought it was nonsense, but it was your lullaby, wasn't it?
The woman turned to her slowly, eyes wide with surprise. Then she nodded.
I sang it to him when he was little, every night, even when we had no food. He used to hold my hand and say, I will build you a big house, Mama. But instead, they broke him.
Tears welled in Blessing's eyes.
He built me one, not just of bricks, but of love.
When they arrived at the city, the children ran out to greet her. Kulu, the youngest, clung to her leg.
Mama, I dreamed of Papa. He said not to cry.
Blessing's heart skipped.
When?
Last night in my sleep, Daddy came. He was smiling. He said he was okay, and he kissed my head.
He said? The old woman gasped and covered her mouth. Blessing knelt and gathered her children into her arms.
Papa loves you, and he always will,
she said, her voice steady. That evening, Blessing gathered the children around a small cooking fire. The air was cool, the sky painted with stars, and the trees swayed like they too were listening. She told them everything, not the way adults lie to protect children, but the truth, shaped gently with love.
Your father came from a place of pain. He didn't choose to leave us. He was given back to the world for a short time, to find peace, to know love, and when that happened, he had to go.
The children were quiet for a long time. Then the oldest, Adamu, said,
So we were his piece?
Blessing nodded.
You were his light.
And for the first time since Paul disappeared, she saw hope in their eyes. Later that night, as the wind rustled the Iroko tree behind their home, Blessing heard the faintest sound. A hum. His lullaby. It drifted on the wind like a blessing. She stepped outside, closed her eyes, and whispered,
Go in peace, Babatunde. You're finally home.
Days passed, then weeks. Life slowly settled into a quiet rhythm. The children adjusted. Blessing resumed selling spices in the market. The world didn't stop because her heart had cracked open. It moved forward, as it always did. The story of Blessing and the man from nowhere became something of a legend among the cityers. Some believed she had married a spirit in disguise. Others said it was destiny rewriting itself. Either way, everyone agreed what she built with him was real. One day, as Blessing swept the compound, a soft wind danced through the trees. It swirled the dust and lifted the cloth she had tied on her head. She paused, sensing something. The pendant Babatunda left behind swayed on its string above the doorframe, spinning slowly, though there was no breeze inside. She smiled.
Thank you.
She whispered, eyes closed.
I see you.
Years later, her children grew and told the story to their own families. About the man who avoided mirrors, who never aged, who had no past until one day. Someone called his name and he disappeared like morning mist. But they didn't call him Ghost. They called him Father. And they remembered him not with fear, but with pride. Because sometimes, even in death, love finds a way back. And when it does, it builds homes, plants trees, and lives on in laughter. Babatunde may have vanished, but his love stayed. In the hearts he touched, in the stories they told, and in the wind that still danced through the old Iroko tree.
Some say the spirits of the lost return to finish what love began. But tell me, have you ever felt someone watching over you long after they were gone? A dream, a whisper, a sign? If this story made your heart pause, if it left you wondering, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and help us keep sharing these hidden tales of love, loss, and the things we can't always explain. More stories await, stories that choose you to hear them.